I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time we'll give Madam Clerk time to get set down and we'll have a roll call. Come on in, Mr. Attorney.
Anderson, Austin.
Here.
Cranford.
Here.
Hilliard.
Here.
Hodges.
Here.
Massey. Smith.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Weldon. Here. Willis. Yarborough. Here.
Okay, we welcome all up to here this evening. Thank you for coming out to the full court meeting. At this time we'll have some action on the minutes from the last meeting.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Anderson, Austin.
Yes.
Cranford.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Hodges.
Yes.
Massey.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thornton.
Yes.
Weldon. Yes. Willis. Yarborough. Yes.
Well, okay, at this time, we'll just go ahead and go into our bill 14-4.
Judge, I'd like to introduce Bill 14-4 and have the first reading.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows: be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate funds from unappropriated general fund 1,000, general fund 1,000, department 0400 sheriff. Section 1, an ordinance to appropriate $9,491 from unappropriated general fund 1,000, department 0400 sheriff, line item 4005 vehicles. Section 2, a check was received from Gallagher Bassett for damages to the following vehicles: 2006 Dodge Charger. Section 3, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, and it shall be fully effective after passage in accordance with state law.
It's got to do passage budget and make a motion.
Got a motion second on 14-4, discussion?
Yeah, the car total, what else?
This is the total, and it's going in to we can buy another one with this money.
How will it total?
It's total, these totals is total.
In a regular, they don't.
Anybody get hurt? Total car, nobody got hurt?
When it was total,
Oh, the total car, it was total, insurance gave us the check for $9,000.
what happened, what did he hit, who hit him?
Oh, Lord, then I've had so many, Harold, I don't even know.
Okay, well, he just says.
I mean, he didn't get it totaled and it was their fault, and so.
Okay, just total that.
You are.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Anderson, Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon, Willis, Yarborough. Yes.
Next bill 14-5.
Judge, I'd like to introduce Bill 14-5 and ask the clerk to read it.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to allow 911 emergency services to fill one full-time position and one part-time position. Section 1, an ordinance to allow 911 emergency services to fill one full-time position and one part-time position. Section 2, ordinance 13-61 to freeze hiring by all Hot Spring County offices until further notice was approved November 13, 2013. An elected official or supervisor may be allowed to hire a new or previous employee upon approval by the Quorum Court. Section 3 is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, which shall be effective immediately upon approval by the Quorum Court in accordance with state law.
Your Honor, this did receive a due pass, and I make a motion for its adoption.
Second.
Got a motion second, discussion?
I was wanting to throw this in, this is not supposed to be, he told us this was not new positions, this was filling existing positions.
And this is this money that is in the budget already, that it would not require any additional money?
Yes.
It's to replace people that have left during 2014?
Well, he just told us that, in fact, he told us that committee night, didn't he?
people.
Right, he's following the ordinance we
Yes.
said, but I
He
just,
said the money was there in the budget for 2014.
He just had a full-time person to study there.
that's right, he didn't want to retire. What about the part-time?
I don't know about the part-time, you know that.
Is this a new position for the part-time?
No, he said that
I don't
he had,
think so.
he had a, you know, he's down on his part-time, and he was just trying, he's putting one back in there. I don't know the exact number. And part-time people don't work set hours, I think they work according to whatever comes up, so he just needs someone else in that position, so we can.
Judge, he works under you. Is it possible he can make these meetings and explain this to us?
Mr. Representative, I have asked, I did not know that he was not gonna be here. And I told anybody that comes to produce a bill in their department, they need to come and testify before the court. And for some reason, he's not here. I don't know what it is. I'll find out.
Mr. Allen, would this be something that we need to be read 3 times?
Yeah, it actually would, since it's not a appropriation ordinance.
So,
I
I
would
withdraw
have,
my motion.
I guess I'll start.
let it ride.
Well, she's withdrawing her motion.
I would also.
So,
Okay.
Let's let it ride.
But we better just do it, wait to
Yeah, we'll
see
see.
if they come to visit us.
Yes.
So you read it one time, you just put it on the next
Yeah,
one.
so
Yeah, let's put on next month, and tell him
And
he needs to be here if he wants to approve.
you can always suspend it the next time.
I've asked it, even of the elected officials, if they have something to clear before you.
I know you
did. Let you know what's going on.
But if we table them and didn't pass them, they might come.
I think that will help out all over, all over. Hey, by the way, let me just make a little, announcement. This is Tuesday, I think it was yesterday, little Palamita came into the world. And little Palamita is the little name for Paloma, Josh's wife. She had her baby yesterday. I think she came home today. Her name is little Palamita. Okay, next bill, was it 1406? Yeah.
Judge, I'd like to introduce Bill 1406 and ask for the clerk to read it.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate funds from unappropriated jail construction fund 4,000 to jail construction fund 4,000, Department 0418 jail. Section 1, an ordinance to appropriate $9,900 from unappropriated jail construction fund 4,000 to jail construction fund 4,000, Department 0418 jail line item 3,500 jail construction. Section 2, to install a fence around Hot Spring County Jail. Section 3 is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, and it shall be fully effective after passage in accordance with state law.
Judge, this received a due pass in committee, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Got a motion second on 06, dash 6.
We just do one bid on it.
I don't think he got to bid out.
Hey, Judge, you want me to,
Huh?
you want me to chime in?
Yeah, you know, you didn't bid it out, did you? You got quotes.
I got a quote.
You got quotes. You don't have to bid it out unless you want to if it's under 20,000. But that's, I think you just got some quotes and that's the one you got.
Well, the fact is, you know, I have so much material that Dale Horn donated, and that's the reason I get it done for this, you know, 18 to 20,000. You know, just for y'all's information, we arrested the guy last week for trying to steal a truck off our lot. 309 store, he went and told the deputy. So, I mean, we've already lost all our four-wheelers, they're gone. I mean, we're trying to keep people out, not in.
I'd like to know more about the fence building. Is it gonna be a personnel gate in it,
Yes, it's gonna be 216
and one for vehicles? How does a person get in to see a prisoner?
Doesn't have anything to do with it, it's in the back. We keep everything in the back.
Or is
The
the
front's
fence
not
gonna
gonna
be
have
on
anything
the property line?
Yes,
You let the surveyor out there, make sure it's on the right line.
Absolutely.
Actually, we've got a survey of that property.
I mean, the fence, the posts are already there, some of the posts are still there on the old field.
You wanna come in and I'm sure it's filed with the clerk office.
In fact, Joe Gage owns the other part of it,
Yeah.
and he actually helped us clear it.
Any more discussion, question? Roll call.
Anderson,
Yeah.
Costa,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yeah.
Smith,
Yeah.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
You sure little Talamito is okay home by itself?
I left alone with it.
I just wondered.
Well, if I'd been a little more prepared, I'd just brought it with me, if you could have sat here and listened to what was going on.
You wouldn't do it that good. I wish you had, I wish you could, you'll bring it later though.
Yeah.
All right, okay, next 14-7.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Bill 14-7, have a clerk read it.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate funds from unappropriated voting safety fund 3019 to voting safety fund 3019, Department 0500, Office of Emergency Services. Section 1, an ordinance to appropriate $6,000 from unappropriated voting safety fund 3019 to voting safety fund 3019, Department 0500, Office of Emergency Services, line item 3500, special projects. Section 2, the sheriff's office received a check in the amount of $9,000 from GIF fund to purchase a boat with a motor. The amount of this boat was $15,000. Section 3, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance and it shall be fully effective after passage in accordance with state law.
It's got to be passed, please, I make a motion for this adoption.
Second.
Got a motion, second, discussion? Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey, Smith,
Yeah.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon, Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
Next 14-9. Excuse me.
I would like to introduce 14-8 and ask the clerk to read, please.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend ordinance 90-52, Hot Spring County Personnel Policy Manual. Section 1, an ordinance to amend ordinance 90-52, page 23, section F, maternity leave of Hot Spring County Personnel Policy Manual to read as follows. F, maternity leave. County employees shall be granted maternity leave without pay for up to 12 weeks. Section 2, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance and it shall be fully effective after passage and in accordance with state law.
Mr. I have a question on this one. Will this be will we need to read this one 3 times? What this was is in our personnel policy, FMLA section was correct, but the maternity leave area was incorrect, because it stated 10 weeks opposed to the 12 weeks that by law has to be, so it's just correcting our handbook.
You still gotta read it 3 times. You can't read it by title only. It was 2 times. You should just suspend the rules.
Okay. Well, I make a motion to suspend the rules and read it by title only for the second reading.
Second motion.
Got a motion, second, suspend the rules, put it on second reading. Any discussion?
Anderson,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yeah.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
One more time.
I make a
I
motion.
don't need to read it.
Can you
by
read
title.
it?
Read the
I'm
title,
sorry.
excuse me, gotta read it.
Ordinance to amend ordinance 90-52, the Hot Spring County Personnel Policy Manual.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and read this by title only for the third and final reading.
Second motion.
Motion, second, third reading. Discussion. Roll call.
Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
An ordinance to amend ordinance 90-52, Hot Spring County Personnel Policy Manual.
Judge, this did receive due pass for boards and commissions, and I make the motion for its adoption.
Second. Got a motion, second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
Hey, Madam Clerk, before we try, due to the fact that I might just forget, when this becomes, we'll get this file, we'll get it. There's a 911. What we might do on this is we probably should get a copy of this out to all of our employees. But somehow we need to incorporate this back into the future. A copy of it, we can go ahead and insert it into a personnel rules. And, so that the next time we hand one out to a new employee, we'll know that's it. That's just what we're gonna need.
Has it always been 12 weeks, or you changing it from 10 to 12?
I thought it was 12 weeks from the very beginning.
Well, whatever, I know.
Legally, it has to be 12 weeks due to FMLA. And it was just, somehow it's a typo or something, I don't know, but it's by law, it's 12 weeks.
And also it covers man or woman.
That's true.
Yep.
Have they changed that recently again? I know they changed it at work to 16 weeks.
That's 12 weeks.
12 is the
Oh,
minimum.
it's been 12 weeks, I don't know.
You can get it more.
You can get more, but 12 is the federal minimum requirement.
After a year of employment. After employed for a year.
Okay. Next. Bill 14-9.
Judge, I'm going to introduce Bill 14-9, have the clerk read it.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows, being enacted by the fourth quarter of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate funds from unappropriated general fund 1,000 to general fund 1,000 department 0109 election. Section 1, ordinance to appropriate $100 from unappropriated general fund 1,000 to general fund 1,000 department 0109 election line item 3101 training. Section 2, a check was received from the State Board of Election Commissioners for compensation for attending election commissioners training. Section 3, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, and it shall be fully effective after passage in accordance with state law.
It's got to be passed and read, and I can motion to adopt. Second.
Got a motion, second discussion. Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
Yes.
Next, Bill 14-10.
Judge, I'd like to introduce Bill 14-10 and ask for the clerk to read it.
A bill for an ordinance to read as follows, be enacted by the fourth quarter of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate funds from unappropriated general fund 1,000 to general fund 1,000 department 0400 sheriff. Section 1, an ordinance to appropriate $2,805.30 from unappropriated general fund 1,000 department 0400 sheriff line item 2023 repair parts. Section 2, checks received from Gallagher Bassett for damages to the following vehicles: 1998 Ford Crown Vic, a 2007 Chevy Silverado, a 2002 Chevy Silverado, a 2007 Dodge Charger. Section 3, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, and it shall be fully effective after passing in accordance with state law.
Judge, this received a due pass in committee, and I move for its adoption.
Motion, second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sorry, Cranford.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Hodges.
Yes.
Massey. Smith.
Yes.
Thornton.
Yes.
Weldon.
Yes.
Willis. Yarborough.
Yes.
Next bill, number 14-11.
Harold, I thought this was supposed to come out of the liability.
It is.
It's not, it says emergency vehicle fund. It should be the emergency, or the vehicle liability fund. Should it not?
You don't have any emergency vehicle fund.
I think there's a typo here. Brenda's not here.
There's a liability fund that's got $8,000.
That's where this is, that's where that's supposed to come from.
Right.
Well, the ordinance, I just was reading it before I asked for it to be read, and it's supposed to come out of.
What's the numbers on the liability fund? The numbers may be right.
That's what I was gonna look to see.
You would need this to buy a car, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we need to, can we come back to this one while I get this budget written down?
Go ahead and look at it, we got time.
That's not the right one, she didn't type that up right.
You find it way down the back.
Is that in the jail? It's not the jail, it's in the sheriff's budget.
It's in the budget, it's on. It's on page right to that. The ones that don't know, comes out of a fund. When an officer writes a person a ticket for no liability insurance, all of that money that, in the fine goes into one fund that the sheriff can use for equipment or buy vehicles. That's what this fund is. And they're projecting to have 8,000 in it this year. It's the only thing it can be used for in that fund, is for the sheriff.
Elaine, there's something I was trying to get a hold of. If that's in a line item and it's under that, do we have to have an ordinance to get that? Or can you just, I guess, I don't know.
I don't know that you gotta have it on.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, that's in a line item of his own. He don't have to have an ordinance, does he?
If the money has been appropriated into a line item, then he has the right to spend that line item up to the appropriation. He can't exceed that, but he can go up to that. Once you give him the money, his discretion to spend it. So if you've given him $20,000 to buy cars, then he can go buy cars. If you've given him $20,000 to buy bullets, he can go buy bullets.
This was adding money, though, to the vehicle out of,
In that case, you would need an appropriation if you're adding money.
we're transferring from one over into another to put it up in there to buy these vehicles he's buying.
Coming from where, going to where?
It's coming from, which I'm trying to find the line where it comes from, but it's coming from a liability insurance line item, which by law, that was established for when they write a ticket that is, when someone doesn't have liability insurance and when they pull them over for a traffic stop or an accident or whatever, and they write a ticket, that money goes into this account, and by law, he can spend it for pretty much anything he wants to spend it for. So he's got money there, and he needed a little extra money added to his vehicle budget to buy all these vehicles. So we told him from the Budget and Finance Committee to pull this $3,000 something out of that line item and put it into the vehicle line item so he can have enough to put by the number of vehicles in it. So it's in his overall budget, but it's in two different line items.
I mean, if they're in the same category,
Well, they're not,
that's what we look for.
they're not in the same category.
Salaries, capital, they're like three or four different categories of your budget.
No, it's not the same category.
If it's not in the same category, then it is a new appropriation for all intents and purposes.
So this vehicle purchase is in one category by itself.
Yeah, the vehicles in.
This is in a category by itself.
And you're always better off doing appropriation. So what's the problem with this ordinance? We got it in the wrong category?
It's not that where it says an ordinance transfer the money from vehicle, emergency vehicle fund 3022,
Yeah.
Department 400, to emergency vehicle fund. That emergency vehicle fund is incorrect. It should be general liability insurance. That's what I'm trying to find, but I can't even find that number. So I don't know, I think it's just a typo. That's why I'm trying to find that number.
I got one here, Brian.
I don't know.
You're saying that the funds are inappropriate or inaccurate?
No, the money's there, we just gotta get the
The
right,
wrong
pulling it
line.
out.
So you got the wrong line on it.
Right, well, on the ordinance it is.
Just, it's a typographical error on the ordinance. That's what I'm,
Correct.
I don't want to approve something we got to turn around.
Correct.
But I can't find,
Was it in the actual sheriff's budget, or was it in the
That's separate.
it's,
sheriff's budget, or in the insurance?
no.
Getting older. Man, last week was awful.
Vehicle liability insurance, 3022. It's just, what it is, it's just, okay, the category is emergency vehicle fund, but the line item is vehicle liability insurance. So,
I think she's right.
well, the category for vehicles is capital outlay, so it depends on what we're calling, I mean, she's using the vehicle line item in the second part where it says vehicles, okay? So she's gonna say vehicles there, up there we're gonna have to say vehicle liability insurance. Because the category is personnel services. One category is personnel services, the other category is capital outlay. So it just simply needs to be, instead of emergency vehicle fund,
You got the right numbers?
it's got the right numbers.
And we amend
We can amend it, we just gotta get amended correctly. It's vehicle liability insurance. That's what, that just needs, where where it says emergency vehicle fund, it needs to say vehicle liability insurance. That's, everything else is right. And then.
Numbers are right, but.
The numbers are right, but it's, we're going from the vehicle liability line item in the emergency vehicle category to sheriff line item vehicles. So, I don't remember how to do this. Judge, I want to introduce Bill 1411 with an amendment. In section 1, second line, where it says from emergency vehicle fund, it needs to say from vehicle liability insurance. All the numbers are correct.
You amended the vehicle liability insurance.
So do I need to amend it first and then we have?
Yes, if you want to amend it, go ahead.
I would like to amend Bill 1411 and strike emergency vehicle fund and replace it with vehicle liability insurance in line 2 of section 1.
So do I get a second on that?
Second.
Got a second? Then order 1411, any more discussion? Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon, Willis, Yarborough. Yes.
Judge, I'd like to introduce Bill 1411 as amended and ask for the clerk to read it.
And a bill for a transfer ordinance to read as follows. Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Hot Spring County, Arkansas, a transfer ordinance to be entitled. An ordinance to transfer funds from emergency vehicle fund 3052 to general fund 1000, department 0400 sheriff. An ordinance to transfer $3,611.50 from vehicle liability insurance fund 3002, department 0400 sheriff line 3500 emergency vehicle to general fund 1000, department 0400 sheriff line 4005 vehicles. Section 2, it is determined that it is in the best interest of Hot Spring County to approve this ordinance, and it shall be fully effective after passage in accordance with state law.
Judge, this received a due pass in committee and I move for its adoption.
Got a motion second adoption of 1411, any more discussion?
I just have a question. Why does it have to be changed? I'm just trying to understand this. If it's the only item on there, why does it have to be changed? Emergency.
Because what I stated in this section 2, or section 1, where it's going, she refers to the line item of vehicle. So in the first part of that, we've got to refer to the line item. The line item is liability insurance.
Okay, I see.
But
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Smith,
Yeah.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon, Willis, Yarborough. Yes.
Okay, maybe, I'd like to, well, no, got a resolution 14-2.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce resolution 14-2 and ask the clerk to read it.
Be it resolved by the City Council, Quorum Court, Hot Spring County, State of Arkansas, a resolution entitled, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the town or the county judge of Hot Spring County to apply for a grant on behalf of Bonnerdale community. Whereas the Hot Spring County City Council, Quorum Court, has determined that the Bonnerdale community meets eligible requirements necessary to apply for a grant under the GIL Fire Protection Grant. And whereas the Bonnerdale community has presented a plan to purchase needed turn-off gear for the Bonnerdale Volunteer Fire Department. Proposals include structural and wildland gear. And whereas the City Council / Quorum Court of Hot Spring County recognizes the need for the project, concurs its importance and supports the Bonnerdale community in its efforts to proceed with the same, and therefore be it resolved that the mayor / county judge of Hot Spring County is hereby authorized to submit an application of formal request to the Arkansas Rural Development Commission for purposes of securing state grant funds in the amount of $39,438.57 to aid and assist the Bonnerdale community in executing the proposed project described herein, and that the mayor / county judge or recorder/treasurer of Hot Spring County is further authorized to administer the grant funds for the same project.
Your Honor, this did receive a due pass, and I will make a motion for its adoption.
Okay. Have a motion second on the resolution. Discussion. Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Hodges,
Yes.
Massey, Smith,
Yes.
Thornton,
Yes.
Weldon,
Yes.
Willis, Yarborough.
take this opportunity this time, I've been here, they didn't pass your hiring bill. I asked some questions and I passed. Would you like to tell us what's?
Well, we have to read it 3 times.
We read it.
We read it.
You read it, we read it one time.
We didn't
So
suspend.
we gotta read it the third time. There was a question about you don't need any money at all, but you need a part-time and a full-time, right?
Please, yeah. I've lost the full-time, and I need to add to the part-time. We've got some availability issues for us to cover.
You got some slots there. Okay.
What about the full-time? Is that replacing someone?
It is.
Yes, that's what I.
Part-time, is that a new position?
We don't have lines for the part-time. We've been fluctuating between 3 and 5 over the last several years. Right now, we're at 3. And we've got some availability issues with some of the part-time we've got that's making it difficult to, there's one line item for all, one lump part-time line that everybody gets paid from.
But you are adding one part-time extra.
Correct.
But are you saying you've got,
Where you get the funds?
It's all in one line. They're all out of one, there's only one line item for part-time in the budget. And they, whether 2 or 4, 12, all come out of that one particular line. So we don't have individual lines like we do for full-time positions. It's a catch-all, essentially.
They don't work a set number of hours. The group of them works whatever hours.
so some of your part-time you've got now can't work, so you're wanting approval to go ahead and hire another person that you can get in to work to use the money that's already in a line item, already
Already
appropriated
appropriate, correct?
for part-time help.
Yes.
And it's not additional monies.
Not at all. It's already budgeted, it's already appropriated there.
We won't run short the last part of the year.
We won't. We didn't this last year, and we didn't have an issue the year.
He's just
before.
saying he's got some part-time people that he's got employed as part-time that aren't coming in to work because of scheduling issues, so he's wanting to hire or get somebody else on the payroll that he can get into work, is what I'm
Giving
understanding.
us some flexibility there, or more flexibility in our scheduling. But there's, again, there's no new money involved in that at all.
But you're adding another part-time
Correct.
operator.
Could we go back and?
Why didn't you put that in, excuse me, why didn't you put that in when you fixed the budget, we just started a new year? If you need another part-time operator, why didn't you put it in?
But I went where I had to. Because prior to the freeze, historically, both with me and prior to me, like I said, there's been flexibility within that line. We've had 3, we've had 5. There's never been a set number that we could have there that we are aware of.
I think what he's saying is these people take other people's places.
I know what he's saying, but we as a court can tell him how many people he can have, period. Not a flex, there from 3 to 5 to 8 people. He's gotta come up with a number. That's our job, is that not right?
Yes, you create the positions and the salaries
That's right.
and general policy.
That's what our job is. It's not for him to decide whether he needs 3 or he needs 5. It's for us to say he gets 5 or he gets 3. There's no flexibility there.
Right now, you have said 3, I guess.
You got 3 in your budget. So,
Well, did you run the whole year last year on 3 part-time?
No.
No. What was the maximum part-time you had? Do you know?
It may have been 5 last year. I believe most of the year we were at 4.
Well, what about Robin coming back and, you, open him up a couple more slots, or another slot for part-time?
Well,
If there's not any more money involved.
They're all lumped in one
I know we'll
line.
have to put a number on the part-time. We'll have to have an ordinance to put numbers in that one line item. That's there.
change the budget.
No, he's not, we don't have to change the budget.
There's no budget.
If he's not gonna spend any more money, you got to change the budget.
Yeah.
You're not gonna spend any?
If you're not spending additional money.
No, you don't change it. So you're gonna move money around, I guess that's what you're
No,
gonna do.
no, he's not even asking for that.
No.
You're
He's
just gonna
simply,
appoint a new
he's
position.
adding a body, and we made an ordinance that you can't add a body without approval from this
Then you've
court.
got to pass.
We gotta pass it. We gotta pass it.
Creating the position.
Creating another person.
That's right, a position.
Right, which is what he's asking for in this,
That is correct.
yeah, that's what he's asking for. But we don't have to change the budget. That's the only thing I was saying here. We don't have to change the numbers, the budget numbers.
You've
Because he's
got
not
him
gonna add
under
it.
part-time, right?
He's just doing what,
No, he ain't.
No,
There's
You
not
don't
enough
have a
positions.
number, that's what I'm talking about.
then you will have to
In the
put
budget,
money
you
in.
don't have a number under part-time.
Right.
The sheriff has got one.
he doesn't have a number, he's just got an amount of money he can spend. This is what he's got in 911. And he's got 3, and he knows he can't put another person in without getting our approval.
Part-time have no benefits, it's strictly a salary, is that right?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, I know all that.
And they don't work a set number every week,
Right.
so they don't have.
And that's why all of them come from one line item. It's just a pool.
It doesn't matter if you got 20.
Yeah, it's
$1,000, and how many people he is it to?
he's following, we said,
That's right. You're doing what
we said no more hiring without our approval, and that's what he's doing here. He's just saying he wants another body that he can call. But he's not spending more money in the budget. That's what I'm just saying, based on what I
But the
understand.
full-time, he is replacing someone that's
Yeah,
left.
that person's left. He's wanting another body to be able to add to his pool of people to call to spend that budget money, right?
Correct.
They might well have 15 then.
It don't affect the county whether he's got 100 or 5. Same amount of money.
He's got the line item is emergency part-time. Total of $30,013.24.
Would y'all like to back up and bend the roof?
Well, we can't now.
Somebody's gone.
We can't
Okay, we
now.
moved on.
We can next
Can't
month.
back up.
Next month, we can suspend the
You
rules.
might go back and look at the dollar value of this. Just look at it.
It's not a budget ordinance. That's why we're having to read it 3 times. It's a personnel policy.
So if
Action.
if you create the line item, there's no way that.
We're not creating a line item, Judge.
What are we creating?
Authorizing-
What are we creating?
We're authorizing him to hire a person.
We're authorizing him to do something that we determined to be illegal without our permission last year.
Okay, but there's not any way in the world we'll ever overrun the budget.
He could, yeah, you can overrun the budget any day of the week if you spend more than what's in that line item, but that's not our control.
The whole different ballgame.
Well,
Because if you approve it, you committed.
He can overrun his budget. You can overrun your budget. That's not legal, but it can be done. He's saying he's not asking for more money in that budgetary line item.
But
He's
you're-
asking for another body that he can call to be able to get help as a part-time to spend out of that single budget line item. What he's doing is asking permission to do something that we determined to be something that had to be done at the end of last year by making a hiring freeze. It's a policy and a
so
personnel
we're not even
decision.
talking about any problem with me signing off on a claim for the payroll that you may run short in that little part-time budget? No problem there. Every year.
There's nothing to do with that.
Same money, whether one part-time guy works 6 days 1 week or 2 of them work 3 each, it's still the same amount of money.
He's saying he's not gonna spend any more money whether he's got 3
No,
bodies
just
or 6
watch.
bodies.
Don't overrun it.
That's what he's saying.
If we wait another month, I mean, this person, when did that person leave? How are you gonna be able to operate until next court meeting? Well, you have to run overtime, is what I'm getting at, with other people.
But I mean, there may be some comp time issues involved, but, you know, I cover what we can't cover.
Anything else, Robin, thank you very much.
Of course, had you been here at 6, we wouldn't be having this discussion. That's what happened, is you weren't here and they moved on.
I'll discuss that with my spouse.
Okay.
Any old business? New business?
You did, that, all right. I brought it up 3 or 4 months ago about vicious animals. Are y'all willing to pass an ordinance about vicious animals?
I can't answer that without
Well,
seeing
I
the
know, I
ordinance.
agree with you, but I'm talking about we need to do something on it. Are we gonna, I mean, we've had people in Arkansas killed by vicious dogs that run loose. And I tell you, things need to be done. We've had law enforcement right here in Hot Springs County had to go to answer dog complaints lately. So I'm saying that we need to do something about it. I have a man in my district that had dogs killed because the man had some rock ballers. Yeah, rock ballers to kill them. Now, I'm not saying that they're a vicious dog, but I think if a man got a dog, he needs to have a tag and a collar on the vaccination on it. That and lots of other things. I've got an ordinance here for about Garland County, and it looks pretty good. And I feel like that we need to do something. Harold was on the court at the time, man down Ridge Road had some lines. He had a drug business, and he had the lines to keep people away. I said, where's that? Harold know what I'm talking about. But anyway, what I'm saying, people, we gotta do something. We're gonna let someone get killed, that's what happened at Hot Springs River.
I just have to, before I would
Oh, I
tell you
do
anything,
that.
I'd have to see it
But
because,
you're ready to look, you're willing to look at it, and consider it.
I got the copy from Garland County today. I have a,
Did you get the most recent?
I think our obligation is to look at anything that's brought
Larry told me he was
forward.
gonna send you the watered down version.
well,
Is
then
that
that's what
he
I
sent you?
got.
The one that we had before we passed the most recent. I can tell you anything you wanna know about dog ordinances. We have been fighting and fighting and fighting.
So you've got an ordinance now that every single animal within Garland County must be collared, tagged.
Tagged. If you're in the county, they gotta be tagged, that's it. If you're in the city, they gotta be leashed. If you're in the village now, they have to be leashed.
What, but when you see in the county, they have to be tagged, in other words, they gotta have a collar on with a tag
That is
identifying.
correct.
And if they don't, what is the,
We attribute it as a stray dog and they're subject to being confiscated.
and is it clarified as the tag is it a vet tag, or can I go to Atwoods and get my own rabies shot?
It doesn't
So-
really matter what they do. You can be a vet
I
tag.
have 15 dogs. Ten dogs.
Yeah, and.
They all got collars, and all got brass tags on with their name and phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you do that, or do you have the vet do it?
we did ourselves.
That's where I wanna make sure that you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
It won't.
You can't vaccinate them yourself.
Yeah.
oh, I fixed that.
Not legally, you can.
You can go buy the rabies vaccine.
I can, but it has to be done. Arkansas statute requires it to be done by a licensed vet.
If,
Now, we have it in Garland County all the time too, but that is not the way.
so there's a state law that requires an
A
animal.
vaccination, a rabies vaccination annually to be given by a licensed vet. But now, a lot of people do,
Really?
just what she
I
said.
didn't even know that.
Absolutely.
You got,
Absolutely.
you got 4-H people coming around all over the
The
county.
farmers co-op selling stuff like.
Well,
And they did the backwards.
When
All
the 4-H,
vaccinated.
the 4-H, they do have a certified veterinarian that donates their time, and they give you the papers right there,
Yes, ma'am.
you know.
They charge you.
Well, they do charge you,
They
yes,
charge
they
you
do.
$600.
tag is from a vet.
And
You can't get them anywhere else.
if you come to my court and say, I gave the vaccination myself, I don't recognize it. Because the state statute says it has to be by.
Well, when you own 15
I
dogs.
understand, and I think there should be an exception for
You
that,
can't run them all to the vet.
for responsible pet owners.
Yeah,
But, you know, not every, a lot of people say they do it and they don't really do it.
yeah,
Like you, a responsible pet owner, I'm sure you do it.
yeah.
In Garland County, we have a lot of irresponsible pet owners, which is why we have the death in the village, and why we've had several deaths actually in Garland County. But I will tell you guys, if you open this can of worms, we're now cutting a deal with City of Hot Springs, we're gonna pay them like $350,000 to take care of dogs.
Yeah, do you
I mean, this is a huge can of worms you're getting
I was
ready
gonna say, it's a very,
think there'd be any chance
my concern is
that they could have
financial.
dogs over there? And,
There you go.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna request and ask that you, the Finance Committee, Budget Committee, and anyone else that's got any input, you can go.
Now,
and
this is boards and
testify.
commissions, this is not finance.
No, wait a minute, I'm
He's
not
getting ready to
through.
spend some money.
I'm not through. I want you to work out an actuarial on the cost of setting up an animal control program for Hot Spring County.
Oh, good Lord. Where you gonna get the
You,
money for that?
you
No, wait a minute, I didn't
It's
say.
gonna be hard to
do
bid out the
something. I
county.
said, work up an actuarial, I didn't say spend it now.
Now, how well does the dog understand what the cost is?
Not so well, but the owners do.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, and so here, the way our ordinance reads, if you don't have a collar, if the dog doesn't have a collar, we view it as a stray. Then we take it into custody. We let you have 5 days to pick up your dog. If you don't, then we use it. I mean, because supposedly it's an unowned animal.
I have trouble where I live, and Mr. Massey does too, I'm sure,
I do, sorry.
Yeah, we
with
didn't
dogs
I
getting
live
up
in
on
Lawrence.
your cattle
Mhm.
and actually killing your cat.
Now, you can take care of that yourself.
That's legal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a statute that authorizes you to protect your animal.
I know, but then you got your problem with your neighbor.
You do that.
Don't
But
tell
you
it.
gotta be a good shot, dude.
Don't tell it, you did it.
You gotta drop it there.
Don't shoot the
You
cow.
Harold, don't
can't let it go home.
No, don't tell it.
it got bad, one time we couldn't let our kids get off the school bus because we had schools that were being done. They chased kids at the driveway.
And that is totally unacceptable.
I
We
would-
had that problem.
I will assist in any way to help you do it, to help you administrator to get some information together to help you to evaluate the cost of an animal control program for Hot Spring County. But I would appreciate you do that. And, if Pete's
I'm
not
sure the
here-
sheriff's got all kinds of time and money to do that.
You can't imagine, I mean, you don't have no idea how many dogs we go on.
Yeah.
But you gonna volunteer to take care of them?
The truth is, if they don't have that little certificate, we make them go to the vet and get it.
Okay, so I think you got you someone to enforce it.
Yeah, I got two.
Sheriff's Department, right?
What, in the sheriff's department?
That you could enforce the animal control ordinance. Ed, don't say yes.
I did.
Don't say, we had a sheriff one time that did. He went on about what he could do, and he was a hero for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How large is
I already
the
did
county
that.
population?
About 160,000, about 80,000 in the city, about 80,000.
And you're earmarked $350,000 for y'all's budget?
And
Is
that's,
that annual?
yeah, and that's with the deal with the city of Hot Springs. Hot Springs pays even more. They have an animal control facility and the personnel. We actually hire them to enforce our ordinance.
Right, that's what I do.
And so, if there's a call, then they send one of their little animal control guys out there to do it. I will tell you, here's where you're really at. You have 98% of your dog owners are responsible pet owners, and those dogs are not going to create a problem for you. You have about 2% are irresponsible pet owners that don't get the vaccinations, don't really care about their dogs, tether them out in the middle of 100-degree days. And so those are the dogs that are going to end up creating problems for you. And eventually, a pit bull or a gripper breed is what they're calling them. They are going to attack somebody. I mean, that is going to happen. It's happening in Hot Springs frequently. And so that's kind of, but if you spend $350,000 to deal with 100 dogs, I mean, that's really where you're at. Once you start going down this road, every neighbor that has a dog that barks next door will start calling. And I see, because we passed a noise ordinance. And so what happens is, somebody's dog is barking at 3 o'clock in the morning, and so they call the sheriff's department. They issue this, because these things, the sheriff's department just issue a citation, let the court handle it. And so that's what we end up doing, it's silly stuff like that. So I'm not saying you shouldn't go down that road, but do be careful, because I'm telling you, you are opening up a Pandora's box. We did, I mean, we would have, this courtroom would have been full with people. Once you say we're gonna have an animal control ordinance, you have a lot of people.
Bigger than the hospital.
I just wondered if
It would be. I'm telling you.
I think it would.
We did it for 3 years, fought this up.
Oh, we do.
We have people from all the counties, they were all kinds of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I don't know, but the thing about it, I like y'all to be aware of it, that people
But,
concerned.
I think it would be,
I'm recusing myself from any
I
activity
think you
involving
ought
us,
to
because
get an
I own a
actuarial
dog.
and bring it back.
Let me tell y'all what happened to me now, this is a true story. 3 years ago, I saw a pole hit in the backyard. I live about 5 acres from it, I don't know where I live. I shot that pole hit. My neighbor called the dog catcher in Milan and said there's a wounded animal at 11 Benton. I had a meeting to go to, I left. Wanda didn't, wasn't even aware I shot the pole hit. Dog catcher come up there and wanted to know about if we had a wounded animal. Wanda said no. We didn't have no kind of animal. But I shot that pole hit, and this is daytime now. A pole hit is a vicious animal when you got rabies.
They also stink.
So what I'm saying, with that kind of people, that, you know, if I live out in front of that little field Spencer lives,
I didn't know that.
stray dog running around, ain't got a collar on, they look like they've been fed in 3 months, tore his head off. Got you.
Sometimes our property.
You live in
Wait
the
a
city
minute, I ain't free to tell my story about that.
We're getting old, man, gotta go.
Always criticizing law enforcement, criticizing people. About a month ago, there was a healthy looking dog got hit in front of my house on Sunday morning. It lay there till Monday morning. I went out there in the wheelbarrow and got it up in and carried beard. But these people are always criticizing people, humane people, criticizing people doing harm to dogs. How come they don't ever pick one of them dead animals up on the road? Y'all ever seen one of them stop and get a dead animal on the road?
But they'll call you to come get it. I've gone to get it.
Yeah. I said I had a beard 50 miles.
You live in the city limits, Mr. Cranford.
Yeah, I live in the city.
whatever you may.
Against a lot of our county city limits.